Well, I want to show you something, but before I do, people have said to me, why do you use a microphone when you do videos? Well, the reason for it is the condenser mic on the iPhone is great if you're in an enclosed place. It's okay. But if you're out in the wind, which is where I'm going to be shortly, it isn't great. So that's why I use headphones. So where am I? I am in southern Illinois, roughly. Actually, it's south of Chicago, about 30 miles. And you hear a lot of talk these days about where people started in the broadcasting business, and you hear a lot of talk about how people say, well, I don't want to work in small towns, and I don't want to work, I want to work at a big operation, and I don't want to quote unquote pay my dues. Now, you radio people will know exactly what I'm talking about. So I want to show you where I started, and I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to show you where I started. So this is where I started. This is literally in the middle of a cornfield, and this is where I started my. The other reason is, as you can see, you have to have a mic because it's too windy out here. But this is where I started. This place obviously has seen better days, but this is the radio station where I started my radio career, such as it is and was. And this is a place that we did an entrepreneurial show. We sort of sold it ourselves and did it ourselves. But it's important that people see this because this is where I started, right here. And there's the tower, 102 point, whatever it was. Now this place, I just want everyone to see this in terms of this place. When I was here, you could literally eat off the floors in there. That station was owned by a guy named Anthony Santucci here on the south side. And he found this frequency. So talk about entrepreneurialism. The FCC said, I think it's 102.9. There's no frequency in South Suburban Chicago that we could find. You can't put your station up. He said, if I find the frequency, will you let me do it? Give me a license. And they said yes. And I think in 64 or 5, this station went on the air. And the AM sister is WCGO in Chicago Heights, Illinois. This is in Beecher, Illinois. And this is it. And I can't get close to the building, but this is where I started radio. So look where we are. We're in the middle of a cornfield. Literally, we used to come out here on Saturday nights and do this show, and you could eat off the floors in there. That's how clean it was and how wonderful everything was. There was an automation system in that little, I have to get my finger in the shot, that little corner right there. And on the other side was an office. And they ran the logs here for the stations, both stations. They had a little network. And this was the thing about radio, and I'm just going to close with this, is this little station and its sister up in Chicago Heights, allowed this man to raise a family and be a community participant and to have a great little business and a newsroom and all sorts of things. And, it was a pretty cool place. And sometimes I think, and it's in disrepair now. You can see that thing used to have the call letters on it, and that's falling apart. And now it's just a transmitter site for a company that bought it. It's a gospel station that bought it, and it's a little bit higher power now. The tower's got brighter lights. It may actually be a little higher than it was. But yeah, this is where I started. And I love it. Bye-bye.